People with very loud vehicles, cars or motorbikes. Why did you make it so loud? And do you think about the people in houses who you might be disturbing? Had a loud bike at 17. I'm using the excuse of not having fully developed empathy like a lot of youngsters. I bought a motorcycle that had been sitting for around 20 years from an uncle of one of my friends long ago. His uncle actually volunteered to get it roadworthy again. It had open pipes instead of mufflers on it. I hate that crap, and South ordinances had definitely changed over 20 years. Weirdly enough, the motorcycle shop that he bought the loud-ass mufflers from had the original quiet stock mufflers stashed away in their shop. People that subject others to the noise they think others needs to hear are major douchebags. I worked with a few people like this. They like the attention and think it makes them look cool. Commenting on how you knew they were at work because you could hear their systems pipes in the lot seemed to really brighten their mornings. Best part was hearing them crying about their money issues, etc. In my head, I'd be thinking, you'd have money if you didn't dump it all into your shitbox. Also, the type of guys who, when vaping, took off, they'd do it fucking everywhere: Home Depot, in line at Taco Bell, in customers' houses when they weren't there, etc. They also never wore their respirators when skating or painting. 10 minutes in our stain shed with no mask would give me nasty headaches. There's a guy where I work with a souped up RS3, and the one Sunday he drove back and forth through the center of town from 9 in the morning till 2 at night, just popping and reviving, upshifting and downshifting. He apparently got 2 speeding tickets just when he was bringing that car home. Not a day goes by in my neighborhood without a motorcycle setting off car alarms and they drive by. I would imagine they all meet up somewhere to tally up the number of alarms they've set off and determine who's got the smallest dick. We used to say cars will notice us if our bikes are loud, but it was mostly crap. Loud pipes save lives is one of those mantras you hear a lot if you talk to cruiser bike riders. It makes a kind of sense up front, but it's just not supported by evidence. I always ask them, if they're so interested in saving lives, then why do they refuse to wear proper safety gear? Why is their fashion more important than surviving crashes? Fun fact, Harley people hate it when you call their identical get-ups fashion or costume. A guy that lived across the street from me had 5 kids, approached me at school to ask if I'd been the one to complain about his loud truck at 5 a.m. I said it wasn't me and I hadn't heard it. Also, I don't even pay attention to that sort of stuff, like who would I ever report it to? But maybe he should have taken that as a lesson to not be driving his truck at 5 a.m. in a residential area. It wasn't always parked there, so I assume he must have drove his car to wherever the truck was supposed to be parked and then got in the truck some days. Maybe it was just easier to leave from home? I swear, they get ready to go to work by idling their truck for half an hour before leaving, especially in the winter. For the most part, I think it's main character syndrome. They think everyone already is or should be looking at or paying attention to them anywhere they go. It's a loud cry for attention they probably never received as a child. All I hear is, "Look at me!" When I hear burnouts or people with absurdly loud engines reviving it in an asshole fashion. Some guy peeled out in the Taco Bell drive-thru the other day, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm just glad you didn't cause an accident. Watch the South Park episode about loud motorcycles, Season 13, Episode 12. Well, my very loud car, 98 Nissan 240 SX with a SR20 DET swap, is that way to get rid of the restriction for quieter spool up on the turbo. It's also a dedicated track car and never sees any street time, lol. My daily is just a fully stock V6 2022 Chrysler 300, so not loud at all. Some people can't understand the difference between the pleasant rumble of a powerful engine and a vehicle that is just too obnoxiously loud. These loud kids are a joke. They're only pretending. Every time I hear an extremely noisy vehicle, I'm in the Midwest, so it's either a big truck or a shitty car with a bad muffler they seemingly relish having. I always find myself saying, I wonder what they're compensating for. And the reviving up and peeling out, even with no room to do it, is so ridiculous. I'd almost feel bad for them looking so stupid if it didn't irritate me so much. Yeah, just imagine how irritating it is at night when your kids are asleep and they wake up to that shit just because someone needs to let us know how small their cock is. Some make the excuse that they need the loud sound to let others know of their presence for safety purposes. LOL, if you say this, then you're a little bitch. Cyclists rise everywhere and don't need to let everyone know of their presence. If you're too scared to ride in a motorcycle, then just don't. I would maybe buy that reason if they would wear high-vis clothing too, but usually they don't. And then the safety justification is void. They only want to be heard, but not seen. You cannot avoid an obstacle you can only hear but not see. It's all about, look at me. Does the sound not make you want to be cool like me? Look at me, with a dose of, fuck you, I know it's loud. Fart can exhaust on import cars because horsepower. You're not on a track with 100 laps to go where 5 extra horses would let your pace move up a few positions. You're going to your job, a Jiffy Loop asshole. No need to sound like you're headed to the Maximum Drifter Extreme competition. That argument applies to pretty much everything, including big-ass trucks with screeching turbos, train horns, and muffler tips that make them sound like a farting trombone. The drivers shit on stances rises while they make every effort to sound almost exactly the same. Couple extra horsepower, maybe for no useful reason, and a lot of decibels. Modern muscle cars with modded exhausts don't sound much better. It's become such a generic sound. They're all close to the amplified trumpet fart that hits a certain RPM and gets even more obnoxious. Try so hard to stand out and they all sound the same. Fuck motorbikes. Straight pipe exhaust, loud AF, nobody can hear you with their windows up, music playing and AC running. But it's fine to fuck up a quiet neighborhood or touristy area with the ear-splitting sound of how cool you are. Sometimes I drive my race car on the streets, like going to a car show, a track day, or just to work on Friday. It has a big turbo because it's a race car. That big turbo needs a less restrictive exhaust system. Less restrictions also mean more sound. And what is your answer to the "do you think about the people you are disturbing" part of the question? I saw a Mustang drive by once in a decently populated area. If I wasn't looking at the Mustang, I would have thought that someone was firing some gunshots. I have an 87 5.0 Stang, though things seriously do sound like gunshots when you rev them. I have yet to take her for a drive as she's got some issues, but I would never drive her at night. Before 10 a.m. and after 7 is my cut-off. I sometimes don't even get up before 10. I can imagine plenty of others don't as well.